Yo, what up YouTube? Explosive Movement Patterns here, back again with yet another video, and this is going to be How to Sprint Faster, Episode 7, and today we're going to be talking about some basics about structuring a sprint training program and why it's important to sprint consistently. Now, there are some people out there who say that before you need to embark on any type of speed power training, you need to build up an aerobic base to get yourself ready. This really isn't true, as you can work on improving your speed and power pretty much in any phase of your training program. So let's start off though, let's talk about the off season, right? So you just finished your season, you took a little break, now you're getting ready. You can sprint and do speed power work at the beginning of the off season, right? But you might want to vary on what you do. So if you did track, right, and at the end of the season you're doing a lot of speed endurance, like 150s, 120s, 250s, flying 30s, things like that, you may not want to start off immediately doing those things. But what you can do is start off at the basic level of speed. So for acceleration, that'd be doing something like 10 or 15 meter sprints. Really short, really basic, but working on that acceleration and that power. For top end speed, what you could start off with is doing things like a 10 meter fly. A 10 meter fly is very short, so you reduce a risk of getting yourself hurt during a movement, because a lot of times people get hurt, due to fatigue while sprinting, right? So you reduce that chance of getting fatigued and getting hurt, but you're still working on top end speed mechanics, and producing force for top end speed, right? So when you're starting off on your training, you work on your short accelerations and your basic top end speed work. Then you can progress further from there. So maybe you start doing some 20s, you start doing some 30s. When it comes to flies, you start doing some 20 meter flies, maybe some 30 meter flies. Then you start going up into your 80s, your 100s, your 150s, and so on and so forth. So when training for speed, it's important to remember that you can do speed power work early in the off season, but you may want to start off at the basic level and work your way up. Now, a lot of people are worried about getting injured whenever they do this, and one thing I would like to point out is, if you want to avoid getting injured, it's important to have a good warm-up. A lot of times people have something like a pulled hamstring because they don't necessarily warm up properly, so their muscles aren't fully prepared in order to carry out maximum speed or just maximum effort work. So when you are doing sprint training, or speed power work in general, so this goes for explosive jumps and plyometrics, things of that nature, it's important to make sure that you're warmed up properly. So getting, good dynamic flexibility, doing drills, and getting your body warmed up and getting your nervous system ready and prepared to carry out that work. So what you need to remember is you can do speed power work, but it's important, for anything, but especially if you're trying to get the most out of your training and avoid injury, to warm up properly before doing maximum effort work, right? And the reason I say that you need to work on your speed power, I recommend working on your speed power early in the off season, is because training to be fast, you have to actually sprint fast in your training. Now, some people can get away with not doing that, but for the most part, if you want to improve your speed, you have to practice the skill of sprinting. You have to get better at sprinting fast. You have to get used to sprinting fast. And if you can do that, you're working consistently on your form, but you're also working consistently on producing force for sprinting. You're working on producing that maximum force as quickly as possible for sprinting. If you do that consistently, you are going to see very good results. So the whole point of this episode is to remember, yes, you can do speed power work year-round, but you may want to vary how you do it throughout the year. And it's important to remember that sprinting is something that you need to practice in order to get better at. In order to work on producing force for sprinting, you have to sprint at maximum velocity. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Explosive Movement Patterns signing off. Peace.